Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I have with me the Lenovo P1 Gen 2. I think you already saw it on some other videos around this channel for any comparison or any show you around with the P1 Gen 4 and the Gen 5. I also showed you the Gen 2, but I never showed you around it in depth. So this video is going to be in depth. And somebody told me which device in your perspective was the best or still is the best, something like that. Well, to be honest, every time I'm thinking about two best devices, or at least one device, is the P1, because you're getting a lot from a small package of 15-inch device. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But back in the day, at about 2019, which was too long ago, we didn't have many options. We used to have those P51s, P52s, these huge bulk devices that just we're I don't want to carry 2 kilograms on my back. I don't want to take anything heavy. So Lenovo came out with this one, which was innovative. This device weighs half or almost half of the usual P52. Well, not half, I mean 8 grams below it, but that's, for almost the same package, much lesser weight, you're enjoying it. And let me show you what I mean by heavy device. So let me show you and give it to you back by back. You see how thick the upper device is and how thin the lower device is? And by the way, that's the P50. If you want to see the video about it, if you're interested to see it, just click on this video up here and you'll be able to see it. But as you can see, it's really different. This one is big, this one is tiny. But you know what? Enough chit chat. Let me show you around the device, ports, and talk a little bit about it. So on the right side, we have the Kensington lock. We have 2 USBs and an SD card reader. Also, because I don't know why it's so dark right now, but over here we have the smart card reader, which is wonderful and useful. On the back we have nothing, although there is the variant of this device which called the X1 Extreme. It's the same chassis, it's just that the internals are different. Well, this one does not come with the one connectivity, but the X1 Extreme does come with the one connectivity. On the left side, again a little bit dark. Let me try and fix it. All right, much better. So, audio jack, dedicated Ethernet adapter. Now, I don't know what's going on around this time, which we are losing the RJ45, the network cable, but we've moved to the Type-C and we've moved to those adapters. I don't like the idea behind it, but Lenovo at some point had their own Ethernet connectivity adapter, and this is it. It looks like a tiny DisplayPort, but it's not. Over here we have the HDMI, 2 Thunderbolt 3, right? Let's fix it again, and the charger. And before we are going to the rest of the laptop, let me tell you a little bit something about it. And sorry that it goes dark every time. So this device can be charged from a few different type of chargers. You can either charge it from the Type-C. Of course, you won't get many juice, but you'll get enough for it to work. You can charge 90 watt device charger. You can use 135 charger. You can use 170 charger, and you can use the 230. So it's very versatile device, which is wonderful and useful. And what about the back? Let me show you around the back. The thing that I was most feared when getting these devices is how much vent you have around here. And let's say there is anything spilled. You could get something spilled over here. I mean, You have vents over here, you have vents over there. It's just like, it could be fearsome to, anything spills on it, being spilled on it. And because the device is used, let me open it up and show you the internals of it. So everything is unscrewed, but one of the bad points of this device are those captive screws. They're really, really gentle, and if you unscrew it in the right way, you could just lose it or get it stuck, and well, bad luck, buddy. But let me open it up for you, which is really, really easy. That's the internals of the device. Over here you have 2 sticks of RAM. I think this one has 2 sticks, right? 2 places for Nvme SSDs. Huge battery, which is capable. It's fine. It does not give it too much juice, but enough to work. 2 wonderful fans and heat pipes. So let's open up the device and show the screen and anything that you might need to see. So here we have keyboard and a trackpad. Of course there is a keyboard and a display, which is, well, we up until like I think a year, maybe 2 years ago tops, we always saw devices with chin and many bezels, as you saw maybe in the P15, in the P50 and the P15 videos. But this one again was very different because it had a little bit up to no bezels. I mean, that's really, really tiny. And yes, there is a chin, but you can ignore it. So about the specs, I couldn't remember. Well, see it. Look how much time this laptop was asleep. Ignore it. I'll just restart it in a second. But so this device has the i7-9850H. Again, this device is pretty light and just 15-inch. Usually, these kind of CPUs you would see in like the huge workstations. So it's really, really unique. It has 6 cores and 12 threads, and that's just beautiful. What about the RAM? Well, the RAM has 64 gigs of RAM, and it runs on the 266.7 speed, which is quite good for this year. And having a device that supports up to 64 gigs of RAM in about 2019, again, pretty rare. We could see some devices with it, but it just wasn't very common. You would see more common devices with 32 gigs of RAM, maybe 16 gigs of RAM, but 64, no. What about the SSD? The SSD is a Samsung, and from my perspective, I think this SSD should be pretty fast. We'll check it later on. The graphics card is, well, it's not the graphics card, it's the CPU, the onboard GPU. It's the UHD graphics 630 by Intel, but we also have the Nvidia Quadro T1000. Now the T1000 is like the basic workstation Quadro like graphics card. It's not the best, of course, it's not the best, but if you are like trying to do some stuff and you would like to see like even playing games, it's pretty capable of doing so. So I've restarted the device, and as you can see, 0. Not, I don't know, 112 days of working. Anyways, so about the screen. Again, which I said before, usually about these years we would see like, I don't know, like a lot of bezels. But with this one, you don't see many bezels. And the screen is just fine. It's wonderful. I like the colors. I know it's just Full HD, but it just is. And there is possibility over here to enable and disable your own camera, which again was very uncommon. Just in the recent years, in the last 2 to 3 years, we already saw devices that can close those, shut their cameras, which is nice. Keyboard. So let's start by saying that it still is, with this device anyways, one of the best keyboards. Even though I'm still saying it and oversaying it, that having a P1 device without the numpad is just a waste. I would even, I don't know, be happy having like this for like over here, like having a tiny numpad or anything, but it has nothing. So for me, that's kind of a minus. Even though I'm not using it a lot, I still like having a numpad for myself. The keyboard itself is really good. And let me type something for you. The P1 Gen 2 is a great device still up to this day. I love these keyboards, and I'm sorry to seeing them gone. The only thing about this device and the keyboard, which is kind of a problematic if you're ever having a problem with the keyboard, which I didn't have many, is, I don't know if you can see it, but the keyboard is integrated to the whole like top of the keyboard, or the top of the palm. And let's say you have a problem with one of the keyboards, well, sucks, because you have to replace the whole top. And the whole top comes with this power button, and it comes with a keyboard. So it could be painful to replace. And for the trackpad. So the trackpad is a wonderful story by itself, because this trackpad is one of the best trackpads that I've ever used. It's just so smooth. Now, this one isn't the one that I'm talking about, because this one is probably replaced. Again, almost 4 years old device. And at some point, Lenovo replaced it with one that has like more like dense texture. I don't know how to say it, but it feels like you're touching like any other part of the device. And I just did not connect to it. It still is very precise trackpad, and it is physical. You can click on it and it would move. So overall, nice trackpad. And now for the sound test, which back in the day and still is up to date, unfortunately, we don't see many devices or laptops with good speakers. And by good speakers, I mean speakers that are at the MacBook level. And this device tried to go there, and it's very capable. Let me show you what I mean, and just hear how much depth you have to those speakers. This sound is Hip Jazz by Benjamin Tissot from bensound.com. So I don't know if you can like hear the sound very good from the recording from my device, but basically if you're comparing this device, the MacBook, and any other device, it's like MacBook and really close this one. The speakers with this one, up until this day, with the P1 Gen 5 and the P1 Gen 4, 3, 1, whatever, has always been very, very excellent, and you should check it yourself. And trust me, it's really, really good. So this is the benchmark. Let me run the benchmark and show you those numbers. And so while running the test, we can already hear the fans running. Having like a smaller or slimmer device has its benefits and some disadvantages. And here are the numbers. Read at 3,500, right? Read speed, and 2,957.5 write at megabytes per second, which is 3,000 basically. Those numbers are your today's average NVMe's SSDs read and writes. But remember, this device is 3 to 4 years old. It just shows you how much back in the day when it was new, it was fast. And even today, it's fast. It even has a Wi-Fi 6. Again, 3 years old, freaking device. And now for the CPU benchmark. So first test we are going to do without a charger, and afterwards with charger. So let's run the test and let me come back to you with numbers. And here are the numbers. Again, without a charger. Single core 1150, multi-core 4640. Those are very, very nice numbers for a very, well, not very, an old device. So let me show you the rest of the numbers for the test. And now I run the benchmark with the charger, and as you can see, it's over here connected. And let me come back to you with the numbers. And here we have the numbers back again. Single core, almost the same at 1164. Multi-core got boosted to 5462. Nice. Let me show you the rest of the numbers. And now for the GPU tests. All of them are going to be with the charger. The first one is the CUDA, and I'll come back to you with numbers. And here we are with the CUDA score at 31,907, which is almost 32,000. And now for the OpenCL test. And here are the numbers for OpenCL, 32,202. Okay, let me show you the rest of the numbers. And for the last test, Vulkan, and I'll be back in a second. And the Vulkan test is finished, and the number is 6066. Quite good. So I just guess it summons it all. So basically, a good device, pretty old but very, 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 very capable, looking good, feels good, have nice numbers for the benchmarks, and overall, tiny, tiny, tiny device. I mean, right now, maybe you could get it for about $1,000, maybe a little bit more than that. But basically, you're paying for the fast SSD and a lot of RAM. I mean, again, this device has 64 gigs of RAM and very fast for the time, and just, good SSD. Good SSD, good graphics, feels good, smooth, wonderful keyboard, wonderful trackpad, awesome screen, which by the way you can find with 4K as well. And well, I guess that's it. I would recommend it for anyone who really wants like this feeling of a old vintage device. Well, it's not vintage and it's not really old, but at least for me, another device that I really, really love and have a warm place in my heart. So I guess that's basically it. So thank you for watching. And if you have any questions about the P1, please feel free to do so because I have a lot of experience with it. So thank you for watching and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.